dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon, and today I've got another book talk video to share with you guys, and I'm very excited for this one. I know I say that, everyone, but especially this one. Today we're talking about The Book of Magic by Alice Hoffman. Now, first of all, if you've been around my channel for a while, you know I love Alice Hoffman. I've done book talks on a ton of her books. She's one of those instant buy authors for me. I think she's a just outstanding storyteller. I love that a lot of her books deal with sort of everyday magic. I just think that's really special, and it's a topic I love to read about. So The Book of Magic is the fourth book in her Practical Magic series. First we had Practical Magic, obviously, and then there were two other books, The Rules of Magic and Magic Lessons, and now The Book of Magic. Now the thing is, The Book of Magic is the direct sequel to Practical Magic. The other two books in between are sort of prequels. One goes back a little bit in time, and one goes all the way back to the beginning of the curse that has befallen the Owens family, which if you've read Practical Magic, or even if you've seen the movie, you'll know that curse is that any man who falls in love with an Owens woman is fated to die. If you want to know why that curse was set and how, I will link below my book talk to Magic Lessons. I had to stop and think which one was which. Magic Lessons. So Practical Magic is about four witches, six kind of, but mainly four. And that's Franny and Jet. They're older ladies, probably in their 40s or 50s, I think 40s. And one day, quite out of the blue, two of their little nieces come to stay with them because their parents were killed. And they come and they stay with them and they live with them and they build a family together. And those two nieces are Sally and Jillian. And then as they grow up, we learn more about them and we see the way that the curse affects them. I love this book. This is the only one out of the four books that I haven't done a book talk on because I read this way before I had a YouTube channel. But I think I might, maybe after Christmas, do a book talk on this one too, just so that all four of them are on here. Then the next book was The Rules of Magic, and that one goes back a little ways where we see Jet and Franny, the two older aunts in the first book, as kids, as teenagers, as young adults. And we meet too and learn more about their brother Vincent. And then we kind of learn how they go from New York City to the place where they live, the house where they live now, on Magnolia Street. And then Magic Lessons goes back all the way, like I said, to Maria Owens and the beginning of the curse and all that. Anyway, the direct sequel to Practical Magic, we get to look in again on Jet and Franny and Sally and Jillian. And Sally's two daughters, Kylie and Antonia, they're now grown up. And one thing, this is a bit of a spoiler, but it's right at the very beginning of the book. So it's not too much of a spoiler, but if you remember at the beginning of Practical Magic, Sally, after losing her husband, after time has passed, she falls in love with the detective. Well, at the beginning of this book, we find out he dies as well, because of course he does, because of the curse, but it kind of, the end of Practical Magic makes you think maybe everything will be okay. Everything was not okay. So the book starts off, and one of the aunts, Jet, she's very old now, in her 80s, and she's found out that she's gonna die soon. She's gonna die within the next 7 days, or not within, in 7 days to be exact, or the morning of the 8th day. She has 7 more days. And you know, she wants to make the most of it. She really just wants to live these next 7 days. And at one point, while she's going about her business, she reads in a book that has been in her family for generations, how to break a curse. And the kind of general idea of it is that a curse by nature is dark magic, because, you know, no one's doing a light-hearted good faith curse, you know. By nature, curses are dark. And in order to break it, dark magic has to be done again. And of course, there's a steep price for that. You don't just do that and carry on as you were. You're changed. Not only are you changed, but often you have to sacrifice something big. And a lot of times that is you, your own life. And Jet's like, well, you know what? This is great. I'm dying anyway. But that doesn't work. That's not how it works. It has to be a sacrifice. So she leaves the book and everything, thinking that in time, Franny, her sister, who's also in her 80s, will find it and be able to put the curse to rest. And from there, the book is just this absolutely enchanting adventure of magic and just all of the things that you loved about the other 3 books if you've read them, which I imagine if you're watching this, you probably have read them. Or have read the other 3 and either want to read this one or have already. So I'm going to tell you now, if you don't want any spoilers, now's the time to click away. I'm not going to go through piece by piece because there's a lot of characters in this book. A lot happens. We'd be here for a long time. But I will give a few spoilers just to let you know how it all sort of comes together. So if you're clicking out now, thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you again real soon. But if you are sticking around, what ends up happening is, well, first of all, Vincent, if you read The Rules of Magic, you know that Vincent went to France. He needed to go. He was in love. He was trying to evade the curse. And he doesn't see his sisters for many, many, many years. So after the death of his sister, he feels it. He has a dream. He knows it. Before he's told, he already knows it. And so he goes home, and Sally, one of the nieces, she raised her children, Kylie and Antonia, not telling them about magic, keeping them in the dark. She's seen too many people's lives ruined, and she didn't want it to happen to them. But she's wrong to think that by keeping them ignorant, the curse can't affect them. And it begins to happen when one of her daughters falls in love with somebody who Sally originally thought was just a friend. But they end up falling in love, and as often happens, or as always happens, he ends up getting into an accident and he's put into a coma. And Kylie, she'd heard some whisperings at Jet's funeral about curses and this and that and magic. And she decides, after she finds a letter from Jet, that she is going to break the curse herself. Which of course was not what Jet had in mind. Jet thought Franny could do it because Franny was old. But Kylie decides that she has to break this curse. And it ends up with her going across the world over to England, and eventually her mom and her aunt and her grandfather and just everybody followed to try to find her, because she has the book that Jet had with how to break the curse. She has it with her, and like I mentioned earlier, it's dark magic. But Kylie loves Gideon so much that she's of the mind that she doesn't care. She'll do anything. She will do anything that she has to try and make him well. And she ends up meeting the great grandson of the man that their ancestor had been involved with that led to the curse being placed, and he's already involved in dark magic, and she, before she knows it, she is in up to her neck with this man that is just bad vibes. And so much happens, but I don't want to get into all of it because, like I said, we'd be here all night. Anyway, by the end, it is Franny who ends up breaking the curse, and she does it, and then she puts some rocks in her pockets and walks into the lake to give the sacrifice that needs to be given so that her nieces and her great nieces and every other generation to come can live free of this curse, of this burden that was put upon their family by an ancestor that I guess was well-meaning, but didn't think it through because it was placed in a moment of great stress. So, and then everything works out all right. And I just thought it was lovely. I love too that while they were over there, Sally met a man. So Sally's the one, she's been twice widowed at this point. When she was younger, and after the second one, she just locked herself and her heart away. She worked at the library. That's all she did. She didn't socialize, none of it. And while they're over there, she meets a man named Ian, and he's just lovely. And Sally, in the process of trying to get her daughter back from the man that she had gotten involved with in England, she sacrifices her magic to get her daughter back and to have a curse that the man was trying to put on the town lifted. And that ended up kind of being the perfect end for Sally's story, because she always wanted to be normal. She didn't want to be magical. She just wanted to be normal. And she finally got her wish, and I thought that was great. And then she marries that man Ian, and Jillian has a baby. And Jillian had always had a husband, or not always, but for a while. But she managed to keep him away from the curse because she never told him that she loved him, and they didn't live together. So for whatever reason, she evaded the curse that way, but it was very awkward. It was very confusing. You know, you can't live and love the way you want to when you're constantly walking on eggshells. So she was finally able to love him freely. And I just thought it was lovely. There was Kylie, the girl who went to try to break the curse. After Franny does successfully break the curse, she is able to be with Gideon because he recovers. And I know this book talk is all over the place, but it's just because it's so hard to know what to say and how to say it because so much happens. And I just loved this series so much. I love Alice Hoffman in general, and this series in particular was just so good. It's so dear to my heart. And I've said it before, I don't know when, in a vlog or in another video, with these 4 books out now, Netflix, you can make an excellent series, a whole series. There's so much material here. As much as I love the movie from the 90s with Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman, I mean, now's the time, Netflix, make a series. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, you guys. I hope you're having a great weekend, and I will see you again real soon. I didn't address my Christmas tree. Clearly it's up. We are fully in the Christmas spirit here in my house. Though we don't have any snow yet, which is very, very odd for my town at this time of year. Normally we have our first snowfall in September, October at the very latest. Anyway, you guys take care, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.